I do believe that gardening or being with plants or being in the outside air, maybe just even walking through a wood, but particularly if you're managing to plant something or change the look of something, cut something, trim something, prune something, encourage something, it has the most extraordinary effect on you. It's become very voguish to say now that gardening or whatever is good for mental health. It's been that way for years, for centuries actually, since time began. You would come in from a day outside and you'd feel a day had been lived. We tend to spend a lot of time inside now or looking at screens and wondering why we're deeply unhappy. The answer is get gardening, and even if it's only a pot, even if it's only a flannel with mustard and cress growing on it, get gardening, see what nature can bring you, because it's the redemption of us all. It's what the great power is the power of life and the power of gardening. So I'm completely 100% behind it. Nothing spooky, nothing woo-woo, nothing strange. Get gardening.
I'm Sarah Mayfield. I'm one of two of the designers of this garden with Monica Greenhow. And my garden is called Hedgerow in the Sky, and we're at Chelsea 2026. I'm really interested in bringing biodiversity into urban spaces, and I'm aware that we've lost 50% of our hedgerows since the Second World War, and they're wonderful wildlife corridors, they're native plants, they're really resilient, easy to take care of. And I wanted to raise that issue by putting it on a balcony and bringing it to Chelsea and starting a conversation. We've put water in. Water is one of the best things you can do to bring in pollinators, insects and birds. We had birds in here when we were growing the hedge. Yeah, it was like, oh, you can't stay there, it's going to get moved. But yeah. So that's another, it's a whole ecosystem, isn't it? So we've got, in a hedge you could have caterpillars, which turn into moths, eaten by birds, by bats. It's this whole system involved. We've tried to put in, without it being too obvious, from very small to a large planters. So we've got planters on the wall, we've got planters above with the pergola, and what we've done in the pergola, we've put plants such as your wild strawberries into moss, wrap the moss with string, so you can just soak it or you can squirt it with a bit of water, and you could even hang that up or put it in a planter. So from something this small to a large hedge, hopefully we've demonstrated anyone can grow something, and then you can just see the wildlife come to it.
Hi, I'm Angus Thompson. I'm designer of the breathing space garden for Athsma and Lung UK. So the planting is intentionally spare. It sits in the centre of the colour wheel in predominantly greens, some whites and the odd colour pop. We have two amazing pine trees that are the kind of magisterial part of the garden. They come from Belgium. They grew together as the brothers. We brought them here and they're sculpturally beautiful, I think. Our design start point was from a Japanese concept called the beauty of empty space, which kind of already I feel more relaxed when I say that. And celebrating things like that was really interesting, and I like the notion of not over-cluttering everything, and the idea that we have a working garden. So that central plinth is our breathing space, and you can sit there and just chat with a friend, but you can also do mindful yoga or tai chi or singing, all evidence-based to improve lung health. There's so many people that love their gardens, and there's reasons why, you know, doing mindful activity, being in nature, we all know it, don't we? You know, and greens especially, you know, are restful. So it's lovely. For this garden goes to Rotherham Breathing Centre, and for that to happen, so, you know, rather than a less clinical session to be doing certain activities is, you know, rather than the gym treadmill in a kind of hospital setting, much nicer.
Hi, so I'm Ashleigh Aylett. The garden is sponsored by Project Giving Back and is for the Woodland Trust, and it is to tell the Forgotten Forest campaign, which is about restoring our ancient woodlands under conifer plantations, because here in the UK we only have 2.5% of our ancient woodlands left. I think it's really important that young people can see like what we can do to bring natives into our garden. So this whole garden is fully native, and what we wanted to do is show that although you might see these plants in the wild, you can bring them into a garden setting, and of course them being native, they're great for wildlife. So my favourite in the garden is the red campion. It's just great for putting in a shady area and kind of bringing that pop of pink and kind of drawing your eye through. We also have the silver birch as well, which is just a great tree to have in the garden, because then you just have the white stems and again really lightens a shady area. I think especially for natives it's great to grow from seed. They'll just be stronger, healthier plants if you can grow them on like that, as a lot of our natives don't really like to be transplanted. I think going into the garden is so important for mental health, and I do it all the time. And actually, especially designing this garden, I spent a lot of time walking through woodlands and being outside to kind of take myself away from the stress and to kind of centre myself. So yeah, I would always recommend spending time outside.
I'm the children's gardening coach, Lee Connelly, and I go around the country getting children outside growing their own and caring for nature. And today I'm here at Chelsea Flower Show and with our classroom garden, trying to promote gardening to teachers and get gardening into the education system. But not only that, also show children that there's a career after they leave school in this wonderful industry we've got here. It's important because children learn like totally differently with being outside and growing and getting their hands messy. There's also like loads of children that don't have an outdoor space, so it's so important, and there's a lot of pressure on schools to be able to provide that outdoor time and also that just that touch with the earth and nature. So it's really, really important. You know, I know from my daughter just being outside, like how she's totally different. Like screens are such a big thing now for young people, and seeing her on a screen compared to how she is when she's outside, so different, and it totally changes the way that she is. It's exactly the same with children as well. They need that time away. They've got time at home where they're sitting watching TV. Even at school now, they've got digital boards they're watching. Just being outside, I know from where all the children we've spoke to, it makes them feel calmer, relaxed, and just like enjoying the day a lot more. So it's really, really important too, yeah. The plants are a really big part of it, like really colourful, but also there's that pollinator education amongst it as well. So when we're talking to children, we can add that into it. Also, I think that the desks are an amazing part of it as well, sort of really bringing the memory side back. So loads of people have come past and said, oh, I remember being at school and having that kind of desk. And that's really good for like taking them back to their school days. And then obviously having those voices as well. So throughout the garden, you can hear the voices of children that we've met through our school tours, and even our own daughters as well are amongst it as well. So it's just like really makes us feel warm inside. So yeah, those are my three favourite parts.
I know how being in my garden and starting my day outside in nature, how it helps me better at what I do. So, and I think there's a greater understanding at the moment about what nature and what gardens can do for people's mental health. And I think the more that gets recognised, the more people will make time for their gardens and make time for nature, because all I know is it makes me better.
I think
Oh, there she is.
So for me, gardening and mental health just go hand in hand. Like if you've had a really tough day and you just think of going home and just sitting on the sofa, don't. Like I urge you to go outside, get down to the ground level, look at the flowers, look at the pollinators, and just look above you. Look at the birds, you know, take in the sound of the birds. And it gets you out of your thoughts in your head, and it just gets you in the present moment, and you're enjoying what's right in front of you and just not worrying about things in the future or things in the past. It just really, really grounds you.
Hi, I'm Olivia.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Carol.
Have a go.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a go.
Always have a go.
You always have to start somewhere. You know, Olivia's trying to create her garden really.
I'm in the
moment.
process.
Yeah,
so
from
give
nothing.
it a go.
From nothing as well. So it's quite a blank canvas, isn't
So
it?
we often sort of swap ideas and help each other out on quite a few occasions.
As you can tell, we're all
mother and 2 daughters.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're always swapping
I'm mum.
ideas.
I'm mum. I'm not the eldest. I'm not letting on for that one. Yeah, it's great fun growing from seed.
And it's so
Absolutely.
cheap. It's so cheap for the price of a packet of seeds. You know,
might as
the
well
enjoyment.
have a go.
comes. Yeah.
Have a go at doing it. What can be the worst thing? It doesn't work. Have another go. Keep trying.
To get into nature, I think if you're ever having a bit of a downtime or something's not going right in your life,
definitely.
to be in the garden, no matter what season it is, it's just wonderful, isn't it? It picks your spirits up.
Definitely. 6:30 in the morning, as I said, out there with a cup of coffee, peace, quiet and tranquility. Marvellous. Brilliant.
Very
Brings you
therapeutic.
round. Yeah.
Hi, I'm John Howlett and I've designed the Floodery Contain the Rain garden at Chelsea. So it's a Persian-inspired garden with kind of water management credentials. So I wanted to design a garden I wanted to prove that you can design a garden that looks incredible and is to your taste, but also has water management credentials in it. So we've got rain chains that collect water. We can collect up to about 600 litres of water in the garden. And you know, it's kind of interesting because at the moment that's kind of a novelty in gardens, but actually I think it's something that, you know, will be something that every garden will have to manage with, you know, these kind of old-fashioned Victorian drainage systems in urban gardens and massive overdevelopment and all this kind of climate change. So I think that, you know, being able to contain and bring some balance back to your garden is kind of a useful thing. You know, we get more and more frequently flash floods and larger periods of drought. So being able to contain and store the water of your garden and use it when there is no water is kind of a no-brainer really. And the plants love rainwater more than tap water. So yeah, that's kind of what it's about. Inspired by Persian, Islamic and Moroccan gardens. I've sort of stolen ideas from everywhere. But really the key principles of the garden are that there's geometry. We've got these hexagonal tiles, Zalige tiles. These parotia trees are creating a kind of shaded environment and water and the celebration of water. So not really trying to hide the rainwater that we're collecting, but using it in a way that's kind of visually interesting as well. So I mean, so we've gone for sort of semi-shade planting. I haven't used a lot of colour. I love kind of using greens and different textures and different shades to create a kind of contrast and form. I think it's just be brave with it. I mean, I think people think that having a small space means you need to put small plants, but go big. You know, I think go big to give it scale and think about whether you want a space. You know, people feel like I think sometimes with a small garden you need to preserve the space and have as much space as you can. But actually, then you're sitting in an empty space. I think fill it with as many plants as you can and just enjoy being surrounded and immersed in the planting is my advice.
My name's Nicky Duffy. We do vegetables and flowers. My husband's more the vegetable gardener, but I'm into more flowers, and I like growing roses. I find they're the easiest, and I've got a cottage garden, so they look nice in my garden. I've suffered myself a little bit in the past, and I'm working full time. It's a really nice release to be able to go out in the garden and just get some peace and quiet and be at one with nature, really.
Loving it. It's busy. There's a lot more here. We haven't been for about 10 years, and there's a lot more here than there was then. I think don't overdo it and let things happen organically. Don't just go out there. Think about it and don't overdo it. Let things establish and then add to it. I have, for the first year, had a greenhouse, and I've done my dahlia tubers, and I planted them out on Monday, ready for the sun at the end of the week. I'm super excited to see what happens with them. I love them all, so I'll cry if they don't make it, but we'll see.
Yes, we're both hoping that's not going to happen.
I think like cooking, like anything that you can immerse yourself into and lose yourself in what you're doing, totally. Yeah, it's very good for your well-being.
I feel the same way about car mechanics. Definitely good for your mental health.
Hi, I'm Susie Kennedy. I'm a garden designer, and I'm one of the designers on Tales from the Riverbank Balcony Garden. Our story was to create a houseboat balcony, so our kitchen garden, this is on the top deck, but within the whole garden we've got edimentals and herbs so that whilst you're cooking and sitting you can pick, grow and eat. So the idea is to try and encourage young adults who've got their first home to try and do some cooking and growing, and might be a bit nervous about what they can grow in a container in a small space. So we were trying to just add lots of mixes of really easy things. Herbs are such a great thing for youngsters to grow because there's a lot of them in the Mediterranean around all year, but also they're instant. You can pick them and cook them without too much effort or knowledge. So that was the idea. We use the Fothergill's seeds to grow so many of our herbs and veg. I'm looking at some green fennel, and there's a big chop of fennel on the roof that were amazing. Black Tom tomatoes, they were superb. Rainbow chard and rainbow beetroot. I've got so many of those. The great thing is my veg patch is looking really empty because it's all here. So when I get back, I'm going to put them all in the vegetable patch. But the Fothergills were really great to use, easy instructions, and they came up. So perfect. What more could you want? If you've got a little bit of space, containers are great. I've used any container really that I had lying around. Old cans, wooden crates, just utilise whatever you've got and don't be worried about growing in a small space because actually it makes life easier. If you've got a big allotment and you feel like you've got to keep it full and it's got to look beautiful all year round, whereas you've got a container, you can do cut and come again lettuce leaves, you can do, I've got pea surge growing there that you can just keep cutting, and you don't have to have things that you look after for months on end. You have a week of them looking great and then they're gone. The biggest tip I have is grow things you like to eat. Don't make the mistake that everybody does and grows a vegetable. They have so much of it and they're like, no one likes this in the house. And they're giving them away. Broad beans and peas and beans in my house, runner beans. So many runner beans and the kids all hate them. And if you grow through the summer, the only thing I would really recommend is weekly feeds, Friday feeds I call them, organic seaweed fertiliser, or if it's a tomato or pea then use a tomato based feed, but just keep feeding because when they're in a container the soil needs, the plants and the soil just needs to be helped a bit with a bit of added nutrients as opposed to the soil where you can just keep mulching and the earth does its own thing. So yeah, feed your containers. It's been amazing. It's been a real journey, quite stressful at times. I think the biggest thing is we grew our own vegetables. So it's one thing growing your own for yourself, but it's another thing growing your own when you're growing it for the RHS judging. Our only saviour was a lot of it was up on the roof, so they couldn't see the slug, the slug nibbles. But so that's been quite a challenge, but it's been great because I've learned so much about different veg that we've grown and what can actually grow well in a container. Fennel has been amazing. I've grown some Chinese cabbage has just been incredible. And they're all loving growing in a container, so don't be scared of small spaces. But yes, Chelsea is a whole monster in itself. There are no words. But it's been amazing, and to get a gold has just been the icing on the cake, so that's been really great. Growing for mental health is being talked about a lot, and it's so true. Just getting your hands in the soil makes such a difference. Just getting outside, if you do nothing but just potter, plant some seeds, put some plants in the garden, get your hands dirty, it makes such a difference.
Well, Chelsea's been probably busier than I've seen it for a number of years. I think there's a lot more interest in sowing from seed, particularly for us. We've seen a lot of people from overseas coming, and I think we are probably seeing a resurgence in growing from seed and growing your own as well. Don't be frightened. I think it's the biggest thing. People are frightened of sowing from seed. You follow the instructions you're giving on the back of the packet. Don't worry about what you're actually sowing. If you like the look of it, then it's right for you. It's your garden, it's your space, and it's what you're going to be looking at. I think you're getting outside, you're getting fresh air, you can forget about everything that's going on around you and just concentrate on what you're doing, the sowing of the seeds, the tending of the seeds, tending of the plants, and at the end of the day, you get the flowers, you get vegetables, and you are creating the whole thing.